They ended season 1 with two couples running for their lives, a baby in their arms, war erupting at their backs, and standing stones that may or may not have swallowed them whole. And just when you thought it was over, Stars dropped a season 2 teaser that changes absolutely everything. Because what is coming in Blood of My Blood season 2 is not just a continuation, it is a detonation. Let's establish exactly where things stand. Because if you walked away from the season 1 finale feeling like you had been punched in the chest, that reaction was completely justified. The show did not wrap things up neatly. It blew the door wide open. On one side, Henry and Julia Beauchamp were standing at the stones of Craignadoon, desperate to escape the 18th century and return to their own time. On the other side, Ellen Mackenzie and Brian Fraser were barely catching their breath after Malcolm Grant's death, with the entire Mackenzie clan in chaos and the Highland wilderness as their only shelter. Two couples, two impossible situations. Zero guarantees that anyone was walking away unscathed. Now here is what the Season 2 teaser has officially confirmed, straight from Stars. The official synopsis reads that both couples will be tested and separated by forces beyond their control, as every single clan in Scotland is forced to choose a side in the rebellion. That word, separated, is doing enormous work in that sentence, and every Outlander fan should be paying very close attention to it. Because separation in this universe is never just geographical. It is emotional, it is temporal, and in this franchise, it can mean losing someone across centuries. The teaser also shows Brian fighting on a battlefield directly alongside Dougal Mackenzie, while Ellen's voice cuts through the chaos with 6 words that hit like a gut punch. You will come back to me. That line is not just romantic tension. That line is a warning. And if this franchise has taught us anything, it is that the people who say those words are almost always the ones left waiting. So here is the question that should be keeping you up at night. If the teaser is already showing Brian and Dougal on a battlefield together, what in the world happened to Henry and Julia at those stones? Here is exactly what happened at those stones, because the details matter more than most fans realize. When Archbug came tearing after Henry and Julia on horseback in the Season 1 finale, there was no time left to think. There was no careful plan, no controlled escape. Henry made a split-second decision that is going to define everything that follows in Season 2. He grabbed Julia's hand, he grabbed baby William, and in that final desperate moment, he pressed all 3 of their hands against the stones at the exact same time. All 3 of them, together, simultaneously. And that single act raises a question so terrifying that the show has not even attempted to fully answer it yet. Because Henry and Julia are confirmed time travelers. They have already proven their bodies can survive the journey. But William is a newborn. And in the entire history of this franchise, no one has ever established whether a baby born of 2 time travelers automatically inherits that ability. It is not a rule the universe has ever confirmed. It is not a guarantee anyone can make. Now here is where the Season 2 teaser delivers its most stunning and most confusing detail. It briefly shows Julia and Henry in what appears to be the 20th century, their own native timeline, and they are with a young girl who looks unmistakably like a young Claire. On the surface, that looks like a confirmation that they made it through, that all 3 of them survived and came home. But the cast interviews from the set of Season 2 have been extremely careful with their wording. Jeremy Irvine himself pointed out during Season 1 that Henry had been experiencing strange visions that felt completely real to him. So the question the teaser refuses to answer directly is this: is what we are seeing in that 20th century moment actually real, or is it exactly the kind of vision that has haunted Henry before? And if it is a vision, what does that mean for where Henry and Julia actually ended up? And more importantly, where is William? Now let's turn to the storyline that is going to hit Outlander fans the hardest in Season 2, because this one comes with a weight that the Beauchamp story simply cannot match. Brian Fraser and Ellen Mackenzie ended Season 1 as fugitives with blood on their hands, Malcolm Grant dead, and Colum Mackenzie having already ordered Brian killed behind Ellen's back. They had nothing left at Castle Leoch. No allies with real power, no safe shelter, no political protection of any kind. And the one person who was supposed to be Brian's own father, Simon Fraser, Lord Lovett, had already beaten him and cast him out entirely. Both of their families had turned against them. They were completely alone in the Highland wilderness with nowhere to go and enemies on every side. And then the fiery crosses appeared on the hills. That image, those warning crosses burning across the Scottish skyline, is not just dramatic scenery. In this world, it is a direct summons. Every man of fighting age is being called to pick a side in the 1715 Jacobite Rising. And for Brian Fraser, that summons puts him in the most impossible position the show has ever placed him in. Because if he answers the call and marches to war, he leaves Ellen completely unprotected at the most dangerous moment of her life. But if he refuses, he is branded a traitor to his clan, stripped of any right to ever return to the Highlands, and loses the one thing that could eventually restore his name and his honor. The teaser has already confirmed what Brian chose. He is on that battlefield. He is fighting right alongside Dougal Mackenzie and Murtaugh Fitzgibbons Fraser, heading toward what history tells us becomes the Battle of Sheriff Muir. And over that footage, Ellen's voice says the words that every single Outlander fan is going to feel deep in their chest. "You will come back to me." Those words are not just a farewell. They are the emotional spine of everything Season 2 is building toward. Because every fan of this franchise already knows, from 8 seasons of the original series, exactly what kind of man Brian Fraser becomes. We know he is the father who raises Jaime with honor, courage, and an unbreakable sense of loyalty. We know Murtaugh never leaves his side. But here's the detail that Season 2 is quietly daring you to sit with. Brian Fraser, the man we are watching fall in love and fight for his future right now, does not live to old age. And if the show is bold enough to actually take us toward that ending, then every moment between Brian and Ellen in Season 2 is not just a love story. It is a countdown. So the real question is, how much time do they actually have left? And does Ellen already know it?